Hey everyone, welcome back to science. Now, do you remember when we talked about living things? What are living things? Well, the first one is people, right? People are living things. What's the next one? Animals. Animals are living things. And one more. Yeah. People, animals, and you're right, plants. Plants are also a living thing too. Now, the living thing that we're going to talk about today are butterflies. But before we get into that, we know that all living things, so people, plants, and animals, those are the three living things. All those living things go through a life cycle, right? A life cycle is just different steps of when a living thing starts out. So when it's born and all the way until the end of its life cycle, to when it dies, right? Or when it makes new babies. So all living things go through a life cycle. So we are going to talk about the life cycle of a butterfly today. And we're going to, I'm going to show you a little presentation. We're going to watch a little video, and then we're going to do this seesaw activity together. Ready? So let me share my screen. Let's see, here it is. All right, so we're going to talk about the life cycle of a butterfly, right? So when a butterfly first starts out, it's not a butterfly, right? It's not this beautiful butterfly that we see that has wings and all these different colors. It's not. Let's click on number 1 to see how a butterfly begins its life. So a butterfly lays an egg on a leaf. So before a butterfly can become a butterfly, it's first an egg. And you can find butterfly eggs on a leaf. Let's see what else happens. So first is an egg, right? And a butterfly starts off as an egg. Then a tiny caterpillar hatches from the egg and it sheds. That means it sheds its skin. The skin falls off as it grows. Caterpillars eat and eat and eat. Whoa, that's a lot of information right there. So first, a caterpillar or a butterfly starts off as an egg, right? But then once the egg hatches out, pops a caterpillar. Now, some people call it caterpillars and other people call it larva. We are going to call it a larva because that's a fancy word, right? Larva is just a fancy word for a caterpillar. So the larva hatches out of the egg and it sheds its skin. That means the skin falls off. Have you ever seen a dog shed its fur? All the fur from the dog falls off and it might get on your clothes. So that's what kind of happens with a larva. The skin sheds, it falls off. And also, larvae, they eat and eat and eat all the time because they're growing. So let's see what happens next in the third stage of its life cycle. So the caterpillar or the larva hangs in a safe place. So a safe place could be on a leaf or a branch. And then they still shed their skin. And then they make a chrysalis. And a chrysalis is another word for cocoon. But cocoon, we can use the word chrysalis. Chrysalis is just a fancy word for a cocoon. It's just like a more grown-up word. So we're going to use chrysalis instead of a cocoon. So then the caterpillar hangs, it hangs upside down, or the chrysalis hangs, and it makes the caterpillar or the larva hangs and it makes a chrysalis. So that's how the chrysalis looks like right here, or the cocoon. So the caterpillar is inside of there. The larva is inside of the chrysalis. You can't see it because it's covered. Then, let's see the last stage. Oh, why can't I do that? There you go. Now, finally, a butterfly hatches. So the butterfly finally comes out of the chrysalis, and it becomes a beautiful butterfly. Wow, that's pretty awesome. Do you see how the butterfly goes through all these different stages in their life? They start off as an egg, then it hatches and a larva comes out of the egg. Then the larva it hangs upside down on a safe place like a tree, a branch, or a leaf. And the larva makes a chrysalis. It's like a little home. It protects the larva. And then after some time, after a couple of days, maybe I think 10 days, a butterfly finally comes out of the chrysalis. So cool, huh? So now let's look at a video that shows the life cycle of a butterfly. So I'm going to share my screen again. So I'm going to change the screen. Let me change the screen. There you go. Okay. Go back here and share the screen. There you go. All right. So let's see the life cycle of a butterfly. So it starts off as do you remember? It starts as an egg. So let's see how that starts. It starts from an egg, and then it turns into a larva. So there's the eggs. So a butterfly, another butterfly, comes to a leaf or a branch, a safe spot, and they lay their eggs. So they're all the butterfly eggs. Then a larva, which is also known as a caterpillar, hatches from the egg. It comes out. Wow. And caterpillars or larvae, they eat all the time. They're growing, so they need to eat a lot so that it can help them grow bigger and bigger. So they eat all the time. They eat a bunch of leaves. Larvae love leaves. And do you see this boy and his dad? They have larva, and they're going to put it in this little tent, and then so that the larva can grow in here and turn into a butterfly. And look, the dad is even putting a leaf inside of the little home so that the larva can eat it. And this is what I ordered. I ordered this little tent, and I also ordered some larvae so that we can see them grow. But I still haven't got it yet. It hasn't come to me yet. So I'm still waiting patiently for that. But this is how it's going to look like. So, like I said, caterpillars eat all the time because they're growing, right? And they eat every day, all the time for 5 to 10 days. Wow, look at him making a hole through the leaf. They grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Wow. See like the boy with his dad. They're looking inside. All right. So now, let's see what happens. So now watch what happens. It's really cool. Look at that. Hold on. Okay. So now the caterpillar hangs upside down from a leaf, oops, and forms a chrysalis. Let me go back to that. All right. Too bad we can't hear what this boy says. So the caterpillar hangs upside down from a leaf, or the larva hangs upside down from the leaf, and it makes a chrysalis. Now, remember, some people call a chrysalis, I'm gonna go back to that picture. Some people call a chrysalis a cocoon, but we're not gonna call it a cocoon. We're gonna call it a chrysalis. Let me stop share, okay. All right, so I don't know why this is acting like this. All right, so now let's see what happens to the chrysalis. So now a butterfly is finally coming out from the chrysalis. So wow, look at that. So the caterpillar or the larva was inside of the chrysalis growing, and now it's coming out of the chrysalis, and it's a butterfly. Wow, that is so neat. Look at that. Now the butterfly can go make more butterflies, right? They can go and lay eggs so that those eggs can turn into butterflies. All right, very cool. All right, so now I'm going to go back to the screen. I'm going to share my screen. All right, that was pretty awesome. So that was so neat, seeing all the different steps of how the butterfly becomes a butterfly, right? The life cycle. It's amazing to me that the butterfly, before it becomes a butterfly, it looks like a completely different animal, right? It's a little larva, it's a caterpillar, and before that, it's an egg. So it just goes through many changes, and this change is called metamorphosis. That's a big word. Let's say it together. Metamorphosis. Whoa. So that just means when something goes through many changes, and a butterfly definitely goes through different, many changes, right? Different phases in its life. So let's put these pictures in order. So we're going to drag the animals to put the life cycle in order. All right, so what do you think happens first? Oh, it's a butterfly, right? That's the first step. It's just a butterfly? No, it's not a butterfly yet. What is it first? It's an egg, right? It starts as an egg. So another butterfly lays eggs, right? Do you remember where butterflies lay eggs? Where can we find butterfly eggs? Yeah, on tree branches or on leaves. Then, what's the next step of the life cycle? What comes next? Does it form a chrysalis? No, not just yet. It's definitely not a butterfly yet. You're right. a larva comes out of the egg. So when the egg finally hatches, out comes a larva. And a larva is just a fancy word for caterpillar, right? Now, what's the third stage of its life cycle? You're right. It forms do you remember what the caterpillar forms? It forms a chrysalis, right? So the caterpillar or the larva is actually inside of the chrysalis. You can't see it, but the larva is inside of the chrysalis. So the larva forms a chrysalis, and then we have to wait more, right? You have to wait more days, and then finally, what comes out of the chrysalis? A butterfly. Butterfly finally comes out of the chrysalis. Wow, that's amazing. Now let me show you the activity on Seesaw. Let me stop share. I'm going to share my screen. Here you go. All right. So you're going to go on your Seesaw page, and then you're going to look at this activity, how a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. So you're going to watch a video, and the video link is right here. And then in your journal, you can write 3 sentences about what you learned from this video. And if you want, you can also draw too. But let's write 3 sentences of what we learned about in this video. So you're going to click the link, and then it's going to take you to this video. So let's look at it. And you can't hear it, so I'll just talk through it. But when you're able to go on Seesaw, you're able to hear it. But you can't hear it because my video is playing, because I'm recording. So there's a butterfly, right? And the butterfly is going to lay, what's it going to lay? Eggs, right? And once it lays eggs, what comes out of the eggs? Yep. Oops. Let's go back here. So once a butterfly egg lays eggs, it comes out. What comes out of the eggs? You're right, a larva. And larva eats so much so it can grow. And then after a larva, look, it's forming do you remember this is? A chrysalis. Chrysalis. Wow. And inside of the chrysalis, it's the larva. You can't see it. So it's going to grow and grow more. And then finally, it's you guessed it, a butterfly. And then it's going to start the life cycle all over again. And this butterfly is going to make more eggs, more butterfly eggs it's going to lay. And it's going to start the cycle all over again. So I'm going to pause that video, and I'm going to go back to Seesaw. You're going to add your response, find your name, and then you can click here where it says notes, this notepad, and you're going to write 3 sentences of what you saw in that video. So I saw a larva comes out an egg, right? So I saw a larva, the larva comes out of eggs. Period. Then I'm going to write my next sentence. What else did I see in the video? I saw, oh yeah, larva. I saw the larva eating a lot of leaves, right? Because you're always hungry because they need to eat so that they can grow bigger and become strong, just like how you guys need to eat. So larva eats a lot of leaves. Now I need a 3rd sentence. I need one last sentence. Oh yeah. larva, I saw a larva. So I saw that a larva forms a chrysalis, right? And from the chrysalis comes a butterfly. So larva forms a chrysalis and out comes a butterfly from the chrysalis. There you go. Larva comes out of the eggs. Larva eats a lot of leaves. Larva forms a chrysalis, and out comes a butterfly from the chrysalis. And then you can press the check mark, and then you're all done. So you don't have to write exactly what I wrote. You can write whatever you saw that you thought it was really cool from that video. Remember, when you're typing, when you're writing your sentences, your 3 sentences, you need to arm stretch, right? Write all the sounds that you hear. Remember, your spelling doesn't need to be right. The only spelling that needs to be correct are your snap words, right? Because we've been practicing reading and writing our snap words in a snap. So all you have to do is watch the video, write 3 cool things that you saw, arm stretch, right? Arm stretch each word of your sentence. I can't wait to read what you wrote. I can't wait to read what you thought was really cool from this video. And hopefully next time I make a video, our caterpillar or our larva finally come. Hopefully our larva finally comes so that we can see it become a butterfly. All right, until next time. Bye-bye.